the way Bridget Bardot shows herself off for her estranged husband, Michel Piccoli, in Contempt. I'm feeding Jack lines from the movie to see how he responds. It's a game I like to play. Not to test his love, but to interrogate his desire for me. He glances up at the mirror briefly, says, yes, and goes straight back to his reading material. But he's not getting away with it that easily. Do you like what you see? Why, shouldn't I? He says, without even averting his gaze from the page. Does my ass look fat? You've got a beautiful ass, he says. But is it fat? You've got a beautiful ass. He looks at me, not my ass, smiles and returns to his papers again. How about my thighs? I say. I reach back and stroke my thigh just below the ass, and while I'm at it, I pull the cheek apart just a tad, so he'll get a glimpse of my plump little pussy from behind. They're great, he says. This time he doesn't even look. That's all? I say. Just great. What do you want me to say? He says. I might be feeding him questions, but I'm not about to give him the answers. Do they look thick? As thick as tree trunks? They look just fine, he says. Whatever he's reading, he's engrossed in it, the way I wish he would be engrossed in me. I roll over onto my back, arch my shoulders, and cup my breasts, pushing them up into two rolling hills and jiggle them a little. Which do you prefer? I say. My breasts or my nipples? My body is still flushed with heat from the shower, and the areolae are pink and browned. I brush and circle my nipples with my thumbs until I start to feel them swell. Does one come without the other? He says, showing not the least bit of interest. If you could choose, I say. If I could choose between nipples without breasts or breasts without nipples, he laughs. Yeah, I say. If you could have a girl who was totally flat-chested or one with tits so big the nipples were almost non-existent, you or someone else, he says. But perhaps deciding this isn't a conversation he wants to have anyway, he doesn't wait for an answer. He says, I like them just the way they are. Damn you, Jack, I think. Pay attention to me. Look what I have here for you. And you can have it on a plate for free. No strings attached. The less attention he gives me, the more childish and petulant I become. I'm thinking about shaving my pussy, I say, sliding my fingers into my bush and tugging at the tight brown curls of hair. I say it because I know he won't like it, because he finds completely hairless girls a real turnoff. Don't, he says curtly. Why not? I say. Now I'm just trying to be provocative, anything to get a reaction. And it works. He stares at me over his knees, annoyed. But he doesn't say anything, and it doesn't make any difference because now that I've got his attention, I decide to push him further. I might do it anyway. I say as casually as I can. Don't, he says again. In a way that says this is not up for discussion. In a way that says, leave me alone. I stretch my arms up over my head, then roll onto my side just to deny him the pleasure of seeing my breasts, my bush. I want him to kiss my ass instead. And I lie there, pretending to ignore him, as if he even cares. That's the way it always seems to be with us right now. No communication, no copulation. At home, Jack's playful up to a point, but try as I might, I can't rouse his interest in taking it further. I can't make him fuck me. I rarely get it these days. He's too wrapped up in work. Jack was working hard all through the summer vacation at the campaign office, and now the fall semester started. He's got even more work to do. Even less time for me. I don't even pick him up from the office anymore. Before Jack, no man had ever come close to satisfying me in bed. Jack is everything that makes for a great lover. Sensitive, caring, thoughtful, and kind. I'm crazy about him. I look at Jack and think of Montgomery Clift in A Place in the Sun. Intensely beautiful, square-jawed, the all-American boy. At least, that's how he looks to me. But it's not just about the way he looks. Whenever you see Montgomery Clift on screen, he can be doing little else but staring into the middle distance, lost in contemplation, and you can see his mind churning. That's Jack, and it really turns me on. When he's not around, I masturbate like crazy, fantasizing about Jack, about us, fucking, at the office after hours, under the table in the college canteen, between the bookshelves and the library, not just sweet loving with nice cuddles and kisses, Jack pounding me hard, sex that's dirty and raw. He doesn't have any idea about these fantasies of mine, because I do it when he's not around, and we never discuss them. But it's getting to the point where my fantasy sex life far outstrips the reality. We live in a cozy one-bedroom apartment with rooms that all branch off the hallway. When things are good, it feels like we're living in a space capsule, locked together away from the world. Our intimacy seems to make the place seem much larger than it is. When things are bad, not really bad, just the little hiccups that happen between any long-term couple living in close quarters. It can feel stifling and claustrophobic.